it's raining. Like it started. Let me get my ass back in. And it's lightning too. We done called the damn down, y'all. The rain man is here now. All right, before I rest, y'all, tonight was an all-nighter for me. Tonight was an all-nighter for me. I've been up, packing, that stuff, and getting prepared to move and everything. And again, um, I wanted to come after a whole Saturday of I'm not sure who is following me over here, but you know, it's been another. I'm not sure of what we're gonna do today, but what I wanted to talk about is that apparently, disability SSI is getting ready to be cut. A lot of cuts. Yeah. And I want to talk about that for a second before I lay down and rest. Because I am tired. I am dog fucking tired. I'm tired, not just physically, but I am tired emotionally and just tired. Now, while for some reason, and we all know why, people have been trying to get me involved in shit that I'm not fucking interested in. We got people that are basically, uh, you know, just literally, literally what people want to talk about is a man's urine and fucking feces. Can we please talk about this? Now, I'm not on disability, okay? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, and that's why I said that's why I have been saying since the end of 2024, since uh since last year. Since last year. Let me pull this up. Social Security benefits cut. Oh, that's gonna be bad. Let's see here. Oh, damn. So I've got a couple of people that are clients that was legitimately like sick, diagnosed with certain things that impacted their ability to work, and they're having a really hard time getting on Social Security. But there's going to be cuts to that. That's going to be bad. I don't get SSI. Um, I don't get it for me or my kids. Um, and I won't even be trying to get it. But my whole thing about it is that number one, people, there are a lot of people that can't stay focused. They can't stay focused. This is not a time to give a damn about an unemployed bum. This is not a time for y'all to be dealing with people that have made you so vulnerable, right? Or can make you vulnerable. It is really important for a lot of you women to pay attention and stop taking everything for fucking granted. I'm going to be okay. My significant other works. I'm not going to talk about what he does for a living. Um, I work, I run my business, and I'm going to be starting a job soon also. But there are a lot of people out there. I don't want to see y'all go through the same shit that I went through, which is not necessarily loss or, nobody's ever been starving. We've survived, you know what I'm saying? But it was really very taxing and kind of fucking humiliating. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people would not have been able to survive what I went through because there's a lot of people that, again, they're talking about witches. They're talking about witches. They're talking about shit that is not going to help them. Satanic cults and shit. Those people are going to lose some of their benefits or whatever. So, from what I could see, what I just looked up, it doesn't look like it's imminent. But I think that this is kind of like, hello, hello, hello. Like, from what I can see, it's too many people that are choosing to focus on things that don't matter, which is a man's hurt fucking ego. Let him go and deal with that. That's his fucking problem. A lot of y'all have got to start saving, but you've been put in a position where you can't. And for some reason, there are a lot of men that are possessed. A lot of y'all need to get out from underneath those males that are trying to bring instability and insecurity in your life. They have fucked around and fucked around and fucked around to where this would be a time for many of you guys to have had some kind of savings going. This would have been a time to do that. A lot of people have not done that. And then you got people that are still hating. You got bums, you got impoverished minds on here. And they're not just on the internet. They're not just after High Priestess Jamila. They are after you. They are after everybody. It's not like I was like, it was so bizarre how I was trying to explain to certain people, the truth, and people would rather be in denial and say, oh, well, no, that's just you. No, it's everybody. People are going nuts. People are crazy. People are crazy. And a lot of you women really need to start working on this now. Don't ever put yourself in a position to where you have any type of situation of a narcissistic man or people that it's not the time for people to be allowing those types of things. And I'm going to be honest with you. I was lucky enough that, and and I'm not going to talk about it because I don't spread family's business like that. I don't do shit like that, okay? But I was lucky enough to have family to be able to stay with. Thank God. You know what I'm saying? This whole time, to where it has kept things operating. You know what I'm saying? Like operational. But to be honest with you, the only reason why I even had that is because of the spiritual work that I do. And trust me, there's still problems. When you have a man or a group of people that are trying to do certain things, and trust me, I was dealing with several groups, not just these jackasses on YouTube, not just them, but I'm talking about thousands of people, thousands that I've been battling, thousands, because remember, I have clients. There's a lot of them out there, a lot of them. Family curses, ignorant ass men that don't, like, literally they're on general relief, but yet they still don't want to see the woman prosper, right? They're like literally on welfare, but they've got this fantasy in their mind that if they can't provide for you or give it to you, then you're not supposed to have it at all. And so when I first got back home, it was clear that my family had been infiltrated. And it had nothing to do with people on the fucking internet. It's the world. It's the world that we live in. It's the world. Right? And when I say that, it's because, when I got here, probably like a month or so later, my uncle was telling me that he had got diagnosed with cancer. And so, what I mean by infiltrated is that it's kind of like, family is kind of like, when it comes to my uncle, when I got back home, I would have rather just came by and visited a few times and took my ass home. You know, living with him, no, right? But we got through it because he's going through his own shit. Everybody is going through their own shit because it's a lot of shit that is going on, especially when you have a man that doesn't want you to have fucking support. He wants to control you. So if you're in a situation like that, because that's the energy and the spirits that we're dealing with. We're dealing with spirits that are very oppressive to women. Those are monitoring spirits that will possess people, do things with people. There's monitoring spirits every fucking where, everywhere. You want to know why people are acting weird and funny? It's because of monitoring spirits. Okay? That's why. This is not a time for us to be coveting or even letting it pass. Take it seriously. Take it seriously at that time. Do something about it and then live life. You don't have to argue and go back and forth with people. You don't. For me, I like to keep the public informed because it's not that big of a deal for me. Okay? I like to keep the public informed about these frauds and these scammers in social media. I'm talking about what is happening. What is happening? You guys have had to walk away from a situation that was undoable, absolutely awful. You knew that you had to do or die. You knew that if you stayed in that situation, that your situation was going to get worse. Some of them will take it there. Some of them will try to, like, for example, I almost wanted to throw up about 3 or 4 fucking weeks ago When I found out that somebody was contacting my family members trying to bribe them with money. Why are they doing that? Who the fuck knows? Many of them are parasites. They want your energy. You are not supposed to just lay down and take that shit. The earth, Gaia and her earthly presence is going to use the spirit of nature to get people to wake the fuck up. You cannot just lay down and fucking die for a fucking loser. Because what they will do is they will fucking consume you until there is nothing left and then carry their nasty asses on and keep eating and eating and eating animal flesh, which I do eat animal flesh too. I'm not saying it like that. But they will fucking consume you. You'll be dead or either sick or fucking gutted like a fish. And they'll be moved on to the next person after they done took every goddamn thing out of you because you didn't take it fucking seriously. That's a serious situation. A fucked up man is not what you need. And trust me, I'm going to tell y'all something straight up and down. People assume this is the reason why Spirit did it the way that they did it for me. Because a lot of people just assume, oh, I can go and get help over here. There's social service agencies. Do you realize that there are people, there are women that literally had to walk away violent situations. They've had to flee with their children. They're staying in fucking shelters. There is no funding for that. The funding goes fast. It's something that you can't fucking sit around and wait until some shit gets bad. You can't do it. Even I, as a witch, barely made it out of that shit alive. Because there are diabolical sects of men that are doing stupid fucking shit. You know what I mean? And you just like for example, when you have all the signs or pointing to, this man is a misogynist, this man has no respect for women, he doesn't care about you and your children, he wants to send you through hell, he's going through a God complex because he wants to fucking punish you for what the hell nobody fucking knows. They're weird. They're fucking weird. They don't want you to meet a good man that's going to take care of you, that's going to be there for you. They want to keep you stuck. Some of them is even killing women. Some of them, they're finding women in fucking manholes and stuffed in walls and shit. We don't know it. I mean, it is possession, it is craziness, and it is ego. So this is where people need to pay the fuck attention. Instead, what you got is the church on here saying, oh, we got to focus on witches. It's the witches that did it. When unfortunately, there are tons and tons and tons of corrupt religious organizations out there. And many of them, that man that is literally trying to take you down, he's associated and connected with it. Now, our society has seen this before. Nobody just says, oh, well, this is man's law, and you're not seeing God through the eyes and the hands of that man. That's not God. People get really fucked up when it's a fucked up man, and they're like, oh, well, it's a man doing it. You know that there's good men out there that will uplift you. Why do you think that that's God? Unless you think that you just deserve to be punished for what? I don't know. You're not, that's not God. And it ain't even the devil. That's a fucking alien. That's not even that's not even human. Men are not. Listen, we don't have time to theorize about that shit right now. We can say, well, it's some kind of interdimensional alien. They're communicating with aliens and shit like that. We don't know what the hell their problem is. What we need to do is make sure that you are protected from that man's bad ancestors. And that's even sometimes with good men. You can meet a good man that, he may have bad ancestors. So, and regardless to if he's Christian or not, you protected from their generational curses. You need to be protected from your own generational curses. So even if he's a good man and he's there for you and supporting you, that's that's the issue right there, right? And so then you got people that continuously bad shit onto the earth. If you've got an enemy or somebody that's jealous of you, they're gonna try to create that for you. So it's something that, while the type of spiritual business that I run is essential because we're not bullshitting over here. Okay? It's not bullshit. And you're gonna have to fucking wake up and smell the coffee. Seriously. And the sooner you get that man out of your life, the better. The sooner you get that fucked up man out of your life, the better. I don't care how much money he gives you. That's where you're selling your soul. Now, I've had people accuse me of selling my soul because I'm doing spiritual work for people. Why would I be selling my soul? My soul stays within my body. That doesn't even make any sense. You're selling your soul when you are with a man that is fucking abusing you and he's narcissistically playing this sick game with you. That's selling your soul. You don't have to put up with that crap. Even if you're a woman that you're just like, I want a man to take care of me, nothing wrong with that. But that's not the one. That's not it for you. Okay. So, again, the reason why I bring this up is because there's a lot happening politically that could possibly affect a lot of you guys. But the focus, a lot of the times, and I do understand, there's a reason why there are so many people that make a fucking big deal about me. I get it. I get it. Okay. But it's time to really, really, really focus. It is. It's time to fucking focus. You cannot continue to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna have to be something that people are gonna have to fucking pay attention to this shit. I've been warning y'all about this for the longest. Literally, like, and then is it a coincidence that YouTube has tried to they're trying to get me out of that algorithm. And I'm not in that algorithm, but it is a part of something that we need to face. We need to face it. If you are witnessing it, you're not witnessing the fuckery that you're witnessing because it's meant for you to make some kind of judgment on me or choice between left and right. You know which path you need to take. It's not about that. The reason why you are witnessing it is because that is the issues that many of you guys are facing. And how do you deal with that? How do you survive it? How do you do that? You know what I'm saying? Because once you lose your health, how the hell are you going to work? There was this lady online talking about how her husband was just diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And, he thought he would be able to get SSI, and they denied him. They denied him. and he wanted to do clinical trials. I guess he either got paid for it. He's financially, you know, either you're taking your life seriously or not. One or the other. It's gotten out of hand. It has. It's gotten out of hand, and either you're gonna survive it and flourish it, it's going to mess you up, because I can promise you that many of you guys, what is that man a threat to? You need to ask yourself, what is that man and what is all that negativity a threat to? People can run around here and they can say, oh, they love that toxicity and that drama, but that is a threat to your health. Okay, it's a threat to your health. A diabolical person, that's exactly what they are. They are a threat to your health. If you're not protecting your health, then that's going to affect you in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways. And trust me, they're doing medical witchcraft. Okay, I'm not talking about doctors. I'm just saying that people are purposely trying to afflict you. Okay, so if your health fails, you don't even know if you'll be able to get your Social Security. Even those of you that have paid into it your whole damn life, hell, you you could, and so I say that because a lot of people think that they're secure, but then again, you're not, because they're going to be making a bunch of cuts to that. I'm gonna look it up, and it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have got to stop taking their health for granted. You can't just sit up here and just continuously let all this negative shit go inside of you. Stop doing that. Like y'all are doing nothing about it, and y'all think once you get up to like my age, you think, oh well, I'm just getting older. No, that's not what the fuck that is. That's not what that is. I told y'all even last night, a lot of y'all women that feel heavy, it is because somebody is trying to take away your independence. They don't want you to be able to pull your weight. It's weird. It's a game of death. They're literally playing the Hunger Games. They have lost their fucking mind. Let me look this up real quick. Yeah, Trump's Social Security proposal. Hold on. Let me see. What is it? 2026. Yeah, he's getting ready to cut back on disability and SSI programs. They're getting ready to cut people's SSI. Okay. And they said it's not going to be until like the 2020s, but hell, that 2030s, that's going to be here before you know it. Wow. I'm sure that I will still be here. That'll be in 4 years. Goodness gracious. That's crazy that it's almost 2030. That's like insane. Like, wow. What I would say would be to protect your health. Try to get some kind of nest egg. If y'all notice, people like me that have been in business the past decade and earning enough to not need food stamps and to pay rent, guess what they were trying to do? They were trying to stop me from saving any kind of nest egg. You see what I'm saying? So if this is stuff that's out in the open. What about the stuff that y'all dealing with that's not out in the open? What about stuff that's going underhanded? Because a lot of it is underhanded. You can't really see it. You can't see how it's affecting you. So we gotta stop. Let me get off of here. We gotta stop focusing. I don't give a damn about a man that wants people to pay attention to his piss and his feces. This is not what my people and my following is supposed to be doing, guys. This is not. If you're a follower of mine or if you're somebody that rocks with me, that is not it. People have got to stop paying attention to that. It's, or either some loser that's talking about his penis. You gotta snap the fuck out of it. They don't have no power. They do have the power to distract you though, and to fuck you up to the point where, that's why I was saying earlier, while these people are on here all day focused on High Priestess Jamila, I'm over here doing what I'm supposed to do for my clients against their enemies. I don't have time to be sitting up here worried about people on the fucking internet. None of us do. When you turn away and you look away from those people and you're like, okay, I know why they're trying to distract me from High Priestess Jamila, but I'm not going to let them. They're doing everything in their power, trying to gross you out and all this shit. If you are a follower of mine or if you are a client of mine, you have got to step out and snap out of that. And really, to be honest with you, it is my responsibility. I'm not going to talk about the accountability that I've taken for it though, because then I would have to talk about things that, well, we can't. We're not at privilege to talk about that. But know the adversaries, especially people that are participating in Project 2025, which is the death plot, the death game, the bullshit that they're doing. you know, of course they don't want you to come to me to get help. It's like I said, they tried to sacrifice me. And I can't be sacrificed. I'm fucking immortal. I've said that so many fucking times. People say, "Well, how are you immortal?" Well, I'm immortal, but I can still die, but I am immortalized to them. I'm not a vampire. You don't have to be a fucking vampire to be immortalized. But I am immortal. Okay? So I don't know why people would be trying to do that, but a lot of the sacrifices, and a lot of you guys, they are trying to sacrifice you. They are. You know what I'm saying? And so what I was telling y'all was that, like, my spirits definitely did give me the power to save the sacrifices, because it's, and they're not going to do anything to me. They're not going to question me, no matter how far high up it goes. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Okay. So I'm not worried about that. It's something that I realized. I said, well, damn. I sat here and I thought about it, and I was getting downloads and stuff from my spirits, and that's exactly what it is. And people are still stuck on sexism and misogyny and racism and shit. And that's something that we've got to put on the fucking back burner. You know what I'm saying? It's a much more like dire circumstance out there. And I do, and yeah, more than likely, if you are a black person, that, I think that it looks like that. But to be honest with you, y'all really need to look at the news. Y'all really need to look at some of these stories. It's white people come up dead every goddamn day. Boatloads of white people come up dead and killed every damn day. It's a lot of them. So that's something that happens all the time. Weird shit Hell, I watch 48 hours. Those episodes that they have so it ain't just a damn black thing, okay? A lot of people need to wake up and smell the coffee when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? Even though we know that the KKK exists, and we know that stuff still goes on. Uh, the hell, they kill their own. They destroy their own people, so it's not about that. It's not. I think that it's good sometimes to deal with that, right? It's important to have like a handle on that and protection from that. But I also think that it's being done as like a distraction too. I think a lot of that is a distraction. So, and those women that run behind and covet those types of people, they're toast. They're done. They're done. Those people have given their life. Like, let them be the dummies. Let them be the dummies. You don't be the fucking dummy. Because it's a lot of those people that are fucked. Seriously fucked. There's no way that I would ever. Like that, like for example, that pedophile I was talking about, that live stream that his nasty, disgusting ass did. It got, which ain't that many. Oh, he took it down. Probably because I flagged it. But when I went to go flag it, it had like 22 upvotes. Who in the hell? I was like, the hell, that's some seriously demented. Let them go. That's a waste of time. You might as well just say you don't give a damn about your life to be sitting up there wasting time listening to that. And if you possessed, wake the hell up. Maybe you're just curious about some shit. Maybe you're just a, I'm not saying that everybody that looks at that stuff, but it's really time for people to wake the fuck up. Men like that are a danger. There's no fucking way. They're the ones that are doing it. A lot of people was hurting us, like I said. We are living in a situation to where, from what you can see, it is abusive, diabolical men and jealous women. I spoke about that yesterday. Let me take some of them other videos down. I think it's important to talk about those people, though, sometimes, because they really, really, really go through a lot of lengths to get my followers' attention so that they can lie to you and tell you some shit that ain't the truth, and saying all this disgusting stuff. And there's that's being done for a reason. So all of those people in that black sector, technically they are an enemy to my clients, but only because they're just trying to stop my clients. uh do they actually have the power to stop you or hinder you from coming to me? No, they don't. But your adversaries are making it hard for you to get what you want to get done, especially if you're dealing with an abusive man that don't want to let you go, or a stalker, or somebody obsessed with you. Of course they put enchantments and bindings on you to where you wouldn't go and get the help that you need. Of course they are. right? That's one of the things that they do. Okay, that's why a lot of that is going on, because there's an agenda. You cannot tell me, and all of a sudden, and see, we getting ready to have and it's just for entertainment, American Horror Story, but they getting ready to bring Marie Laveau back. But historically, witches have been a phenomenal help to not just women and children, but men. That's a fact, especially the healers. So, of course, they've been on the agenda of don't go to a witch and get spiritual work done and stuff like that. That's because they want to keep you in that state of confusion. They want to keep you in that state of bondage. They want you to be bound to them. And it's not about what God wants. They are the gods. Your is playing the role of God, utilizing numbers, frequencies, and energies is what they're doing. Okay? Anytime a man thinks that he's doing God's work by, you know, uh, trying to besiege a woman by saying that he pissed all over her, but he's claiming that he's doing God's work. That's not God. In fact, God does not like that. God does not, the saying, God don't like ugly, and that's one of the reasons why you know you've survived it. That's the reason why I've survived it. You know what I'm saying? But I also know that from what God tells me, my relationship with God is going to be different from other people. Everybody has a different relationship with God, and it's supposed to be that way. I know what God told me to do to survive it and flourish and get past it. Okay? So y'all got to understand that there's nothing strong or admirable about that. And this has happened before in history, because a lot of these diabolical men, they want you to be more vulnerable to what they are doing to you. Of course they do. Why do you think they attack? When you're doing spiritual work to empower yourself, that makes you not vulnerable. And yes, there are plenty of men out there. They use the Bible to help women. They use the Bible to keep themselves straight. But a lot of these men out there, they will use the Bible to hurt you and their congregations to hurt you. Okay, witchcraft can be evil, um, but so can religion. It just depends on who's the practitioner. You know what I mean? So, anyway, guys, yeah, that shit is crazy. They're getting ready to start, and it must be happening now. They said towards 2030, but there's been people that have been talking about this is happening now with Social Security, with SSI, and that's just one example. Like I said, I don't really have very many clients that get Social Security anymore. Um, but that's just one example of things that are happening. while we're being distracted. Same thing when they banned abortion. Same thing when they banned abortion. That was something that we really, really, really should have paid attention to. Again, it's not that I believe in going out and just. I personally have never had one, but there are cases that of which women need one, and there have been women that have been arrested for getting abortions. There have been or taking abortion pills. Okay, and that's something that, to be honest with you, it's not anything that I would do, but it's not right that some politician, some man has decided what you're going to do with your uterus. Let's face it, women had abortions for a reason. So they canceled your ability to abort, which, like I said, that's such a sensitive topic, because you know what I mean? So they canceled your ability to do that, okay? But then now that you've had your babies, you can't even really barely take care of them. You bring in children into this world that they've made it difficult for you to even care for. And then not only that, we're subjugated by these scumbags that are in the street because you can't just go and get justice for the crimes that these losers are committing against us. You have to have a lawyer, an attorney. You have to lawyer up just, I mean, or women happen to get a lawyer if they get beat up by their husband in order for him to go to jail. You got to have an attorney to be protected. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. What the fuck is going on? And I personally think that a lot of these diabolical men, they're purposely distracting us so that these laws can go their way. Okay? They want these laws to go their way. And I'm warning you guys, the next thing you know, because it just keeps getting worse and worse, the abuses of women. Next thing you know, it'll be legal for a man to go upside your damn head. And that's when I'm gonna leave the United States. So it'll be legal for him to beat you. They did that over there in Germany. That's crazy. And probably a lot of woman beaters moved to Germany. So that's just insanity. You know what I mean? And you know, I say that a lot of these men that are setting these laws, they're definitely doing it for the benefit of diabolical men. And they want, to me, it seems like they want all men to be like that. And the ones that are not like that, they will attack them. They're watching them. You can't even, like, for example, with my significant other, I come on here and talk about how wonderful he is, and I know what people thinking. I want him to be mean to her. And he ain't gonna do it. He ain't gonna do it. In fact, I'll fuck somebody up. You need to have protection around your man, to where if somebody trying to throw that shit at him, that shit ricochets back and fucks their asses up. Because yeah, they do want to turn into fucking monsters. They do. That's a fucking fact. They want all men like that. They do not want no fucking man. A lot of these diabolical, abusive ass, pedophilic weirdos, they want your men treating you like shit. The misogynists do not want to see happiness. They don't want to see that shit. They want to see a man making a fucking woman miserable. Because they're sick. You're gonna give them control over your fucking life, and I wouldn't give a shit about what they talking about. Let them fucking talk. Let them talk until all they goddamn teeth fall down their throat and choke their own damn self to death. Make it so that's all they doing is fucking talking. Gotta be able to stand up for that shit. They do. They don't want you to have no man treating you right. Shit, they don't. And they don't want nobody to be happy. It's a lot of miserable people that just they can't be happy and they don't want to see other people happy and they're placing themselves in positions of some kind of fucking power. That's a fact. Okay? So, anywho, yeah, and they would love to keep you bound and binded up with a goddamn fucking loser ass man that you hate. The fuck? I don't understand it. You better take back control and power over your love and sex life. They want to control you sexually. They would love to control how your man see you. They want to disrupt the fucking romance. You know, I was talking about this briefly on the last live that I did about how they want to try to shut down and delay a woman from supporting herself so that they can disrupt the process of romance between a couple by trying to make it to where the woman is desperate and she's supposed to, move in with a man immediately. What the fuck is that about? Courting and dating someone and not just taking up with them immediately is a part of the bonding process. You don't just be meeting somebody and then here you are like a few months later you living with them. What the fuck kind of shit is that? And what are you supposed to be unhappy because y'all don't live together yet? The fuck? Y'all notice that? Like that's not normal. It doesn't matter how old you are. I turned 49 this year. I can still wait a few more months to live with my significant other. It's not that I don't love them. It's just that we're going through the process of building our relationship. That's artificial to sit up there and try to make it so that a woman has to live with a man. And I haven't spoken about him at all. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely not involved with anybody one that he's with. But it's just the point that we're going through the process of falling in love and just moving in with some and they out there and they trying to tell you what the fuck to do, and y'all need to realize that that shit is not normal. It's not. In fact, the reason why it's not normal for me is because I'm moving into a home for me and my children. I have a 13-year-old. And then by next year, I want to buy a family home for my children. There's nothing wrong with that. Who the fuck is anybody to fucking tell me that I can't have a home? What the fuck? Me and him can own 2 or 3 houses. Who the hell are you to tell me that that I can't own more than one house? They don't even want you to have one. Who the fuck are you to tell me what I'm worth? See, y'all see what I'm saying? So it's a whole ass trip. But I'm not going to get into detail about my honey bunny as far as like what we're doing and everything. And because that's something that is it just it's not nothing that should be discussed in social media to begin with, especially when you're being stalked by psychopaths. Who the hell is telling their goddamn business to a fucking psycho? So they tried to set it up to where you supposed to explain your every goddamn move to these psychopaths. Child, please, I'm not having that shit. And if not knowing my personal business that has nothing to do with them kills them, well then let them die. Shit, let that shit make your heart stop. Then, bitch, the fuck. Ooh, I gotta know. Like nosiness has gotten to the extreme. I need to know that. You don't need to know nothing. I need to know where you at. No, you don't. You don't want to. Okay, well then burn up, burn up, burn up. Then that shit is weird, and we are not going to allow people like that to be in any kind of position of fucking power. You can kiss my ass. We gonna throw a monkey wrench and all of that shit. And we already stopped and shut down uh psychopathic narcissistic stalkers. They ain't got no power. It's just that they ain't got the fucking memo. You are never going to be normalized. The world is never going to accept you, and you are going to be denied access to every goddamn thing, including prayer. Are you fucking kidding me? So their prayers are useless. That's a fact, y'all. It's the reality. Can you imagine some damn psychopath being able to have control and these people running, running people? Get the fuck out of here. Like I'm just like, huh? It's funny when you watch them try to do it and they try to front, but it's a false confidence because we will fuck them up. Nobody that is going to be given power to make decisions for you. That's just like saying that the people that hate you, they get to make all the decisions for your life. And by the way, if you're truly being gang stalked, narcissistic people are doing certain bindings on you, so that you'll be codependent on them. And so that's why they try to act and front and pretend that you're supposed to be codependent and fucking subservient to them. I think it's some kind of MK Ultra. All I know is that they don't like my ass, and I don't even know why they even keep trying me. It's weird. I don't know why they dumbasses keep trying to try me. They barely got resources. They goddamn self shit. They don't even have a fucking mate or a spouse that even has a damn gainful employment. The hell are you doing? So that's how they're able to do that, because they try to do it to where, especially when it comes to gang stalkers, you're supposed to be subservient and dependent on them, and you can't move forward. Oh, we've got control over you because we did a smear campaign, and you're gonna suffer until I tell the truth, or either I vindicate you. The fuck? So you're supposed to wait to live your life until they do the right fucking thing, and they will put spell work around it and bindings. And you have to break that shit. Okay, that's exactly what that dark moon Lilith said. It said, okay, well, we are now breaking these spells to take away your independence. Even those of you that have men that you're in love with, You still have to break. Hell, he may be under those kind of codependency spell work too. It may not be affecting him the way that it's affecting you. But they may be doing that. They do that shit to men too. They're controlling and diabolical. Don't nobody give a fuck. You not standing up against no fucking witch. You don't have a chance up against a witch. So that was one of the things that we did with Dark Moon Lilith this month is we built up the power source during the dark moon to make sure that we can break those curses of subserviency and codependency and those curses to take away your independence and freedom very quickly. Very quickly. So it's not like it's going to take you, forever to recover from the shit. I'm talking about sometimes within a fucking hour or less. And it doesn't matter if it's a man that reads the Psalms or Proverbs or some kind of verse in the fucking Bible that says that you're supposed to do what he says. It doesn't matter. You don't have to do shit that he tells you to do because you're not involved with those people. You don't have a relationship with those people. So, but they will get personal items of yours. Gang stalkers, they will go through your trash. They'll get your sanitary napkins and pads out the trash and they'll come to your house and they'll steal personal items and shit. And it's so stupid because all they do is lose at the end of the goddamn day. I don't fucking get it. But you gotta put in the fucking work. Okay, the work is gonna have to be done to do it. Okay? So, y'all being gangsta, y'all wondering why are these people able to run my life? Because they're all specifically putting a finger on you. They're clawing in you, the gang stalkers. And what they're doing is their intention is control over you. That's their intention, is to control your every move. So, and they're doing that in a lot of different ways, even with Bible verses. You know what I'm saying? So, anywho, y'all, that's pretty much it. I mean, for me personally, I feel like if anybody loses their disability benefits, just go ahead and get on up and keep it, just keep your will to live and just keep it moving. That's how I feel about the situation. There are some people that genuinely cannot work, so that's gonna be bad. I'm not sure. I'll have to come back with y'all as far as like with the update on that. But let me get my ass off of here though, y'all. Okay. All right, y'all.